Cheers. We just finished a successful weekend here at Tampa. We just learned a whole bunch of information and facts that we want to share with you guys about lasers, skin types, and a whole bunch of other cool, interesting facts. So, we are going to kind of dive and dissect a little bit of what stood out to us with our notes throughout this weekend.
Yeah, this is probably the best conference that I've ever been to as far as content. A lot of times I go just for networking and to learn a thing or two, but this was pretty mind blowing.
It was
a lot
great.
of good presenters.
To start with, these are mocktail mojitos, and they're
Really
so good. One of my things that I took from the conference is the thickness of the epidermis is 100 microns, which is this thickness. It's as thick as a piece of paper. So the epidermis is 100 microns, which is this thick.
Yeah, so it can be on thinner skin, like as thin as like 1 millimeter, even thinner in under eye areas.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Then typically like up to 1.5, 1.7 or so millimeters. Super thin.
So if you're like exfoliating the heck out of your skin because you think you're doing your skin a favor, you're this thin. Imagine exfoliating this with water, adding water to it. You're gonna shred it to pieces.
Yeah.
You're ruining your skin barrier.
There's a good amount of exfoliation and anti-aging treatments and tretinoin and things like that, but also our skin has to heal. And so I think a lot of times people are not seeing the results that they want because they're damaging their skin every single night and they don't have any healing phase.
Right.
So there's definitely a balance. Something that I've never really thought about. Clinically, I see it, but I've never really thought about why. And one of the speakers was talking about how our face heals and how other areas of the body heal. And when you think about the process after a laser treatment, the center of your face heals the fastest, and your lateral face, your neck, and your clavicle heal the slowest. And why is that?
Because of having less sebaceous glands.
Yes.
Your T-zone, essentially, when just for the girls or guys, whoever powders their face, where are you powdering? You're powdering your T-zone. Why? Because you're oily there, and that's where it reflects in photos. You want to make sure that you're not super oily, and that is the reason why, is because there's more sebaceous glands.
The sebaceous glands play a pretty big role in the healing process.
Yep.
It's just something that I've never really taken the time to think about in relation to lasers.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about those things.
No, and also one of the most common areas for burns are the lateral face and the clavicle too, because your body doesn't heal as well, and so you don't have that skin cell turnover as quickly. And so if you're going to have complications, a lot of times it'll be in those places.
Even like whenever you get a chemical peel, the first place that you're peeling is right here.
Yep. Because
that turnover is so fast.
Yep.
Whenever you're healing from a laser, you start flaking where? Right here first.
Yep.
Out.
So true. And
then another thing that I learned is, speaking of lasers and healing, your skin has to earn the higher settings. So like whenever patients are coming in like, blast my face off, I want it done. Your skin has to earn that higher setting. So we're going to start off to make sure that this is a healthy, safe setting for you. And then going forward, your skin is going to have to earn it. Like, yes. You can't just immediately go to the highest setting that you have, because that's very dangerous.
It is, and actually that's one reason I'm glad we're adding Moxy. So Moxy is a different device than we've ever had. It's actually a non-ablative device. The device that Katie and I use most commonly is our Tetra CO2. We love it. It's a workhorse. We use it every single day, all day long. And that is going to have a fractional ablation, meaning it's not fully ablating the skin. It has small areas of tissue that are still left untouched, so your skin can heal faster. But the nice thing with the non-ablative Moxy is it builds your skin up from deeper to more superficial. So we build that collagen and elastin. We get your skin used to the heat. Right. And then we can treat you with a CO2 and get an even better result. And a safer result.
And speaking of Moxy, not only is it just for our injectors, but also estheticians in the state of Florida can also offer Moxy. So I'm super excited about that.
Yes. Yeah. Moxy is a class 2 device, and with our attorneys, our compliance officer, we've done all the checks and balances, and our estheticians are going to be able to run it as well.
We're ready to go. And we just learned a whole bunch on it, and I'm super excited to get my hands on it. So the Moxy, going back from the beginning, my first fact of the skin being, the epidermis being 100 microns, the Moxy goes deep as 200 microns. So it's not super ablative. It's not extreme downtime, and you can also get great results in the summer. You can treat in the summer too, so that's really awesome.
Yes. And the device causes something called MINS. So MINS is microscopic epidermal necrotic debris, and basically it's like some brown specks on your skin,
like
and
texture, like sandpaper.
It's like a sandpaper texture, and it's just your body healing from the inside out to the surface, and you have that little bit of damage from the Moxy treatment. And so we have to be really good about educating patients so we don't think that they made their melasma worse or that we made their pigment worse, because Moxy is really cool in the fact that it doesn't have the dwell heat and it is indicated for melasma. So this is going to be a great addition to our Cool Pill. We currently use Cool Pill for melasma, so this is going to be a really cool addition. But we do have to prep them like, no, we didn't make your melasma worse. It's just the MINS.
Yeah, just
you're mending the MINS.
You're mending the MINS. And then as far as determining Fitzpatrick's has been one of the hardest things for me to wrap my brain around, because I'm like, are you a 1? Are you a 2? Are you a 3? I don't know. But one thing that was said at the conference that I was like, okay, brilliant. What you do is you ask the patient, ask yourself, if you want to know what Fitzpatrick you are, if you were to get a burn, how fast does that burn turn into a tan?
Yes.
If it takes 3-4 days, you're closer to like a 2. If you go outside in a couple hours, like you're burnt, and then in a couple hours you're tan, you're like a 4 or 5.
Yes.
And so that, even if you listing in the questionnaire may think that you're a lower fits than what you truly are, because it's based on your burn. A laser is a burn, so you have to, that question is what I'm going to be implementing in clinic.
Yes, that'll be so helpful. And it just makes it a little bit more simple, because adding up all those numbers, like while we still want to do that in clinic, it gives us a really quick representation of, okay, this is my process of thinking. I'm going to double check it with the Fitzpatrick scale, like as a backup, but you kind of have an idea of what settings are going to be safe for that skin. So the reason we chose to bring this device into the practice is because we have like a little bit of gap in our ability to treat patients with different skin conditions. We do have an IPL device and it works okay, but really it's not user friendly. It has a really big handpiece. It's our Roar device, and we can make it work, but we wanted something that not only worked more ergonomically for the providers, but also something that was safer. With the device that we're getting, the BBL, it does have different filters in it that protects the different layers of the skin. So like as an example, the 532 filter, traditionally it would go through all the layers and stop at 532. And so you are at a higher risk of having like PIH, which is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. But this particular device only goes between 500 and 532, and it's keeping it directly in that layer of tissue, and that protects us. It makes it safer for our patients, and it's also a lot faster. So faster means more comfortable, and you're not having to be in the clinic as long, and so that means a lot to us.
And everyone's so comfortable. Not the first person had numbing cream on.
Yeah,
and you're doing like 1,000 passes.
Yes,
like 1,000 zoop, 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 zoop. Yes. And there was no flinching. I always look at people's necks to see if their heartbeat is beating.
I didn't know you did that.
I'm like, okay, is this hurt? If I see like your neck is pulsating, I know that you're probably in pain. I need to do something to help you to get a little bit more comfortable. Everyone was like completely calm, and it was super awesome.
They were very comfortable, and they even said it felt good, which was so bizarre. Any IPL device that I've ever used in the past, if you think about like the way that it treats, like give me your hand real quick. So the way that it normally treats is you would do a pass, so you'd have to press a foot button, and it would be like dot, 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 and you're slowly moving. The BBL Heroic, you just take the handpiece and you literally just go like this, back and forth.
And that spacing's accurate every single pass.
Yes. Also what Courtney is saying is with the overlap, you can control it anywhere from 10 to 50%. So if I want to have less of an overlap, like maybe it's one of my darker fits and I want to make sure that I'm not overlapping the passes too much, the machine has 2 magnets and the handpiece speaks to the boom, and it allows us to completely mathematically count the overlap. So there's no guessing. You're not having to look at it visually. It's just doing it for you.
Science rules.
Super cool.
We also learned a lot about practice and community and how to give back and how to implement good things in how to run a successful practice. And something that I learned was to lean on community, which we are so passionate about regardless,
Yes.
but just to hear it from other practices that also have the same vision was just very, it just felt good. And to grow from one another, we're each other's accountability partners.
Yes.
If I need help, I know I can feel confident to reach out to you, and you're not gonna, backlash me. You're gonna be respectful and like, yes, let me help this girl, because at the end of the day, we're wanting to help people, and by helping people, you have to reach out. And I loved that.
Yes.
Is Byron your favorite?
I did. I loved her talk. And she was talking about common fails of businesses, and one of the biggest fail of a business is bad culture. And I've seen it. And that's one of the biggest things with Mila that we wanted to implement. Like, above all else, we focus on our culture, and it's not our bottom line, it's the way that our staff feels and the way that I feel, and Katie feels. It's just have a successful business and also support each other at the same time.
Absolutely.
And if you have good culture in your business, you have a more successful business because your staff takes care of your patients, and it is all this big circle that comes back around.
Milo's so good at it. I'm biased, and
so am I.
I'm like, I swear, like, people, I don't know what people think. You can only think what you want to think, but I swear we have the best. Like, I have the best bosses. I have the best work, like, staff, like, teammates. We're a bunch of sisters, and it's so fun because I was the only child, so I feel like I'm just a little sis running around.
I do love it. It's been the best thing ever for us. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful.
And our patients see that. Like, people see that.
Yes, it's not even a seeing; it's a feel. Yeah, our patients come in all the time, and they tell us how like warm, welcoming, and like it just great it feels to be in there, because it's an energy thing, from everybody else. The other common fails of businesses is lack of training. My whole entire career, from day one, no matter how much money I've had to spend, I have always focused on training, because not only does it make me more confident, and if I'm more confident, then I'm going to give you the right suggestions for what you need, but also from a safety perspective. If we don't have the proper training, then we have bad outcomes. It affects our confidence, and it affects our patients. So lots of training is always good. You can never train too much. Poor customer service goes along with bad culture. So if you have someone that is not taking care of your clients, of course you're going to try to like redirect and improve things if you can, but you also have to know when to let people go, and that really stinks. That's the hardest thing for me as a business owner, but that's part of what can make a business fail. And then having bad equipment. So that's kind of why we decided to invest in Sciton, because while it's extremely pricey, it's the best for what we need, for non-ablative, for BBL,
for like, if you are African American and you are wanting something done and you're scared because you're afraid of burning or making the problem worse, it literally is going to make me start to cry, because I feel so bad for those people who want to be able to get the results that Lighter Fitzpatrick's are able to get, and knowing that they're just sitting here scared because they're seeing their friend being able to get treated and becoming less insecure, but here they are, they're at a higher risk of burning, a higher risk of making the situation worse. And to know that, we literally ran into people on the streets today, and I was like, we went to a laser conference, and they're like, oh yeah, I can't do lasers, I'll burn. And I'm like, hold up, girl, let me tell you something.
That was awesome.
There's now technology where those darker skin types are able to get treated safely with amazing results. And just to know that Mila offers that is, I'm so thankful.
I am too. And now, like with our cool pill, there are certain things that we can do. You can go all the way up to a Fit 6. But again, that's like the fractional ablation. So these are things that we can do
less downtime,
a little bit differently with less downtime. It's a game changer.
I'm super excited. I also, one thing that was really interesting that I took away from the event is, you can know more than I know, but if I don't post about it, then it's like, versus you show. Skills mean nothing if you don't share results. So that was like, whoa.
So I'm a huge fan of Subio. I think he's hilarious, and he is He is an outsider in the sense of he doesn't just go with the trends in the aesthetic field, and he will be the first to say your photo is a lie. You didn't actually get those outcomes, and he will like superimpose them and show the difference in the angles and the lighting. I feel like integrity is so important in our industry, and for him to kind of put people on the spot and
he literally was like, I pulled these from other practices, and if y'all are in this room, I am sorry, but these are not good risks. Like, this is not real.
He said fake.
Fake. Think what you want. That's what I think.
Before and after photos are so important, and so I think that as providers we should focus more on the quality of our photos. Not to say that we always have to have the best lighting, trying to get the angles correctly, trying to make sure that we are truly representing the outcomes that we're getting in the clinic
realistically.
I think that that's only fair to our patients, is to show them like realistic expectations. I see all these Russian lips, and yes, they're beautiful, but they're photoshopped. You have patients come in that have paper thin lips, and they have these expectations. They want to be able to look like this woman they saw online
after one treatment, even.
And we have to tell them, like, unfortunately, it's not a reality. Your lip tissue can never look like that. We can definitely make it better, but I think setting realistic expectations is what's fair.
And you don't people don't know that you offer certain things unless you post.
Yes.
So know versus what you show. So that was
in a sense, we're all competition no matter where we are. And I don't really believe in the competition thing, but what he was trying to get across was your patient, even if I'm in Florida and you're, over in California, they're seeing my results, my patients are seeing your results. And so we're kind of setting the standard for what other practices should be showing. And if I'm showing mediocre results, well, they might go fly to California and go see someone else. So if you want to increase the business in your practice, you have to make sure that what you're doing in your clinic, as great as it is represented online. Yeah. I really feel like this was the most valuable conference that maybe I've ever been to. Is definitely in my top 3 for sure.
It was so good.
It really was. My whole goal for 2024 was to learn more about skin lasers and skincare ingredients. So I'm still working on the skincare ingredients, and I'll continue obviously to learn more about lasers, but I feel like this was just such a good start. I know we're already kind of in the second quarter of 2024, but
it was super fun. It was really entertaining. Got on stage.
Yeah. Court did a little rapping.
Yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Let me post a clip in right here.
And I'm rapping right here in front of you.
Dog?
Like
yeah.
Roof, roof. Keep it going.
No, DAW.
Oh, yes.
Dog.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, anyway. Yo, that's right. You're saying your words, watch me say mine.
But yeah, I'm so excited to take this information back to Pensacola, post about it on our social media.
Yes.
So,
cheers.